We're going to be changing the shift linkage on this Harley. This is super important. You don't want to get stranded. Many guys will tell you that ride these Harleys. I haven't had it happen. I'm not going to let it happen, hopefully. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade to the TC Bros and hopefully keep us from getting stranded. Comes with a really nice sticker too. So some instructions, looks like. We're going to go on and open it up. See if we can get this thing out of here. Anyways, I've got a 1,000-mile ride coming up at the end of this month. I'm gonna do 1,000 miles in 24 hours. I looked into doing the Iron Butt Challenge, and it looks like the site that it used to be submitted on is kind of like gone. I don't know what's going on with that, but we're gonna run our own Iron Butt Challenge and see what happens. By the way, part number is 1020150. It's a TC Bros part. Comes with a nice sticker. You can tell like right off the bat when you get this thing, even without pulling it out of the package, that it's just well made. Look at that. These shift. These don't. There's like a barrel inside of there, and there's some like weird little ugly thing on this end. And man, these bolts are really nice too. Very lightweight, actually. It's really difficult to get in here. So what I'm probably gonna do is just break this end off first, and then come in here and like pull this back so I can get to that. Hopefully that works out well. I'm not sure that it's gonna release easy or not. All right, let's get the wrenching. I went ahead and put a 1/2 inch on here. That's what's in the front. And she's spinning. All right. There's one. Nice. All right, so this has proven pretty impossible to pull off. Wow. So I'm just gonna go ahead and try to do the old snapperino. That's what they're talking about. See that? So that works. And then we're gonna get down in here and try to coax it off of there. There we go. I did not expect that to work, being completely honest. Good old ratcheting wrench. That's right. I can do it without looking. All right. Now, one of the things I did on my bike was I actually added spacers to the shift lever, which you can't see. I've got maybe like a 1/16 inch gap. And then I kind of put pressure on the back of this as I seated the, oh my gosh. As I seated the shift lever back on, I just kind of kept this pushed forward and got that in there. All right, so I opted to use a brush. I use a brass brush, something like that. Just gonna get in here and rub this up real good. Since I'm already doing all this anyways, this will be a quick scrub. I'm gonna pull all this off in the winter, do powder coating, polishing, engraving, all that in the winter. So just gonna focus on getting it cleaned up a little bit, knock some of that ugly corrosion off of it. We'll slap the part in. All right, let's go back to the reference manual here. 3/8, 1/2 inch, cool. We already took this off. It's saying to use medium strength Loctite, which is blue. Remove the shifter rod ends. Just gonna pop this guy in here. That's got the nut on it, so we're gonna have to roll this back, get that on there good, and then we're gonna go ahead and run that in. Let me go get some Loctite, and then we'll go on and do that, and then we'll set the travel on it. Now that both fasteners are installed, torque each one to 18 to 22 foot-pounds. All right, so we're gonna put some, I had some on here, we're gonna put some Loctite like right here. This is where the nut actually sits on it. It kind of hangs out the back a little bit, so I'm gonna go like this, and we're gonna shove that through there. Cool. All right, we're gonna leave that sort of like that for now. And we're gonna go ahead and mate up this one. A little Loctite. Awesome possum. We're gonna run that through there and get her on in there. All right, so I went ahead and jacked up the rear end. What that's going to allow me to do is rock this tire back and forth. Let's see if I can get it to shift down. All right. Yep, there we go. All right, so we got a little bit of play in there. That's going to allow me to get this in here. It's going to allow me to get that in there. So it does say that the 12 point should be a 3/8. I do not carry a 3/8 12 point, so the 10 mil actually works pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and get this tightened up. Once she's nice and tight, we're going to put some torque on her. There we go. It looks like 1/2 inch. It's probably one of the worst wrenches I own. As everyone knows, if you work on cars, you don't really have, which I have no excuse because I work on all kinds of cars, but you don't typically run into a standard on cars anymore at all. Even the old ones, a lot of them have metric stuff on them that they've just been converted over. So I don't really have many standard wrenches. I have a full set, but half of them are these nice ratcheting ones, and then the other half of these really crappy chromium Pittsburgh wrenches, but I don't use them very much, so I haven't justified buying a full set. Holler back to these things though, these Craftsman forged wrenches. I don't really care much for the open end side of it, but man, the closed end side really kills it. They work well in pretty much all applications. If you need an open end wrench, I think gear wrench is the one to go with, but the closed end, I use the closed end 90% of the time. If that's the case, then this is the wrench you want. You can beat on them with a hammer. I mean, I've completely obliterated these wrenches and they just work well. All right, let's go and get a torque wrench on this thing. We're trying to get between 18 and 22 foot-pounds right now, right there, 18 and 22. So what I recommend is splitting it, so 20 would be the choice. We're gonna keep running this up until the 0 hits the 20 line. The 0 hits the 20 line, okay? All right, and 0. All right, that gets us 20 foot-pounds. Now, this is a little tight in here, so what I'm going to do is pull this forward, right? And then the head of this is going to bop it, so we're going to put an extension on it. We got a 3/8 extension. All right, we got a trusty old Matco extension. There we go. Hear that? All right, cool. That's one side. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult. Go ahead and get a wrench on it. All right. I'm just going to keep going until she clicks. There it goes. See? You only need to click it one time, but just want to make sure you saw it. All right, you're gonna unscrew this cap. You always want to take the pressure off these torque wrenches. Once it gets loose, you're gonna snug it back till it touches. Once it touches and it's not really all loosey-goosey, you're gonna be fine. You just don't want any spring pressure on it. All right, so what's awesome about this linkage, right, is that you can sit and adjust it to your liking. You see it's going down over here. It's quite a bit, right? In the manual, it states you must keep a safe amount of thread engagement on the heim joint of at least a 1/2 inch. Any less than this minimum of thread engagement in the linkage rod could cause the threads to fail. So this is, I mean, this is really pushing it. But you can see like just how far you can go. So, you know, if it gets to the point where you really just need to bring this down, that's fine. What you would do is you just screw this back in and you'd actually undo it from down here and adjust it on the actual splines. So you'll unscrew this, pop this off, and then rotate this down to adjust it to the proper splines. So now what you're going to do is take your time, get on the bike, put your foot on the shifter, and see how you like it. If it's too high, adjust it out. If you're going pretty far out, go down a notch. Super simple, doesn't take much. Do make sure though you put some Loctite on this when you put it back on. And what I do is I just snug it up. This one also has a washer right here, and I don't think it's a lock washer. I don't remember from the last time, but you could also put a lock washer on there to be safe. So, all right, let's see. Cool. So what I like to do with my shifters is I like to get them to where I can still fit my foot on there fairly easy. I put on the thickest boot that I'm going to wear, and these have some pretty good thickness to them. So I put on the thickest shoe I'm going to wear, and then I try to put my foot underneath the shifter. And I don't want it snug, but I just want a little bit extra so I can make sure I can get my foot under there. Especially if your ankle's tired, you don't want to have a situation where, you know, if your ankle's swollen for riding for hours, or if something happens, you want to be able to get your foot under there. You know, so. But I like to try to get it as low as I can, because when you do an upshift, then your ankle doesn't have to work as hard. You know, you don't want to have to make your ankle go way up here to shift. I've had issues in the past where when my shift linkage wasn't right, it was loose or sloppy, or it wasn't adjusted up or down correctly. It was super hard to shift up. Like I literally had to lift my foot up to do the shifting. All right, once you're finished, you're gonna need a 1/2 inch and a 5/8 wrench. 1/2 inch and a 5/8 wrench. All right, I'm gonna get these nuts all the way down till they touch. Get your shift lever where you want it. I'm just gonna leave it slightly up there, or the this midsection. And let's see, just gonna hold it in place, get it snug down really good. You don't want these coming loose. I know in the manual it says not to Loctite them, but I'm also on the purview of, we're gonna find out. So I'm gonna keep some wrenches on me when I ride and make sure that I have something where if I need to adjust this, I can, because we don't want this coming loose. But this is really nice. The way this is designed is fairly cool. I mean, just look at this thing. You can tell that these are not like perfectly straight, but it's fine because it's made to where you can have an angle on them, which allows you to adjust that shift linkage, which allows you to adjust that shifter so that your foot can, you know, sit where it needs to. But it also reduces the slop. It takes the slop out of it. It doesn't have an option for slop. It takes it out of it, and it feels safe. It feels secure. It's not all super floppy now like it was before. And this is just such a good upgrade. Such a good upgrade. I hope this helped. I hope this answers some of your questions. I definitely like this shift kit. This is super nice. Super nice. This is a very nice linkage. High quality, feels great. Definitely gives me a little bit more security. All I have to do now is fix my triple trees and my lights, and I'm good to ride. So, anyways, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please reach out. I'm gonna help you out however I can. Stay tuned.